Hi, welcome back to our English class. Today we are going to learn about grammar and we're going to learn prepositions. I know that all of you know already what's a preposition. Okay, what is it? It states that the preposition is a word or a group of words that tells us where somebody or something is. When something happens or somebody does something, or the direction or place from which somebody or something is coming, or the direction or place in which or where somebody or something is going. So don't confuse yourself with such a long definition. Just understand it. Okay. It shows the position of something. Okay. Now, if I say, I kept my book on the table. So it's telling me it's on the table. The fan was above the table. So it's on. It's showing me the position. Above, again it's showing me a position. Here, there's a ball below the table. So, all these words which shows position of some particular object or thing is called as a preposition. Now see, a preposition is usually placed before the word or group of words is covered. It is called its object. There are two kinds of prepositions. A preposition which consists of only one word is known as a simple preposition. So if there is only one word, then it is called as a simple preposition. Like across, after, against, along, amid, among, around, before, below, beside, between, by, down, during, except, following, in, inside, into, like, near, next, off, off, off and off, ran, sorry, off, on, onto, out, outside, over, past, regarding, round, than, through, till, to, until, upon, with, without. These are one word prepositions. Now see the complex prepositions. That means it consists of two words along with. Along with tea, you can have bread. Okay. When you have tea along with it, you can have bread also. In front of. Don't park your vehicle in front of this gate. Got it. So there are complex prepositions along with, in front of. All these are complex prepositions. That means the preposition which does not consist of only one word, but it consists of more than one word. More than one word. That is called as the complex preposition. Now see, given below are some commonly used simple and complex prepositions. What you must always remember is that some of these words, some of these words may also be used as adverbs or conjunctions. Whether a word is an adverb or a conjunction or a preposition depends on the work it does. So you need to remember the definition of a adverb, a preposition, a conjunction, or a preposition. So it depends on the function of the words which is there. It depends on it whether it's adverb, conjunction or preposition. So it depends on these three. Whether it's a preposition or it's an adverb or a conjunction. Now let's just quickly revise as to what is an adverb first. So adverb, as you know, it adds meaning. Adverb, adverb as you know, adds meaning to adds meaning to what? It adds meaning to a verb. It adds meaning to a verb, an adjective, or another adverb. We have discussed the types of adverbs in detail. Yes. What's the conjunction? It joins two words or two sentences. Joins, joins two words, joins two words or two sentences. Joins two words or two sentences. Now, let's see the next part of it. You just need to go through that simple prepositions and complex prepositions. Let's go through the complex prepositions also. Along with, as a result of, as to, at top of, away from, by means of, by way of, close to, due to, except for fear of, for the sake of, in accordance with, in case of, in comparison to, in comparison with, in consequence of, in contrast to, in course of, in favor of, in front of, in keeping with, in place of, with a reference to, in regard to, in respect of, in sight of, in spite of, in the case of, in the face of, in the hope of. In the case of, I think you all know what is it. See, it is, with reference to somewhere, the meaning is in the case of that person, we will do this. So that is in the case of, in the hope of. All waited for him to recover in the hope that he will come back again to life. Okay. In view of, on account of. On account of means on behalf of. No. See, there's a slight difference between on account of, on behalf of. On behalf of Steffi Miss, um, Shirley Miss here went to the class. So that is when you speak about a particular person. Okay, that is on behalf of that person, this person went to the class or that person represented the meeting. Now what is on account of? That's the difference. On account of means when we are talking about some important date, that's where we use on account of. On account of Gandhi Jayanti, we got an holiday for maybe October 2nd. So that is talking about not that person, it is talking about the cause. On account of Diwali celebrations, we all got chocolates in the class. Got it? There you will not use on behalf of. Behalf refers to a person in particular and on account of refers to a an event. Okay, or a festival. Out of, owing to, rather than so far as it is concerned, I am not into the matter. So that is such as together with. Placing of prepositions. A preposition is usually placed before its object, that is, noun or a pronoun or a group of words that is doing the work. Now see, when you're talking also, you commit mistake, especially while placing your prepositions. Instead of on, you'll place and instead of and, you'll place that. That's where you make a mistake. And that's where your English goes as Butler English. Very important, you might be thinking that Miss prepositions, when I started taking Miss, the easiest chapter. Yes, children. As you all have understood it, it is a very easy chapter, but the right usage is very important. If you use your prepositions wrongly, that's where your English becomes Butler English. I would say conjunctions and prepositions are something which most of us have the habit of using it wrong. Yeah, so this is what you need to understand where you have to place what. You cannot say on account of instead of on behalf of. Both have meanings are same. The meaning is same, but there's a slight difference in saying both these. So you all will tell me, Miss, why like that in English? English is a funny language. Okay. The cat was sleeping on the chair. Now let's take that example that the cat was sleeping on the chair. Yes. The example is cat was sleeping on the chair. Chair is your chair. Here. Now, when I say that it was sleeping on the chair, it shows a position where there's a chair. Now, my drawing is a little bit poor, not little bit, very much poor, but you please do bear with it. Now, if I say the cat was on the chair, you cannot use the cat was sleeping above the chair. Above refers to a position which is in not in contact, straight on top. Okay, so you cannot tell the cat was sleeping above the chair. Why is it's on top of it? So why should I place on itself and not above? You have to write on. Okay, because it's in contact with that chair. So you have to write it as on itself. No other words. Next, the man stared at her. I don't know what's the difference between at and by. Okay, by refers to walking beside. I went by her, that means with her. Okay, when she told me about Gandhi, that means I took her side. That's the meaning of by there. Okay, so by one word by itself has different meanings when it's kept with different words or in sentences also. If you look like that, there are a lot of words. If you say, look at this word fair, fair means usually it's white, yeah? It refers to the skin complexion, okay? But if I say, sorry for my short throat, please do bear with me. If I say fairness, here there are two meanings. One is that fairness which she has, so she looks very beautiful. The other fairness is equality. She was, you have studied in which lesson? Our one Friday morning. Yes, I've given you the meaning. I hope that you have studied. So, one word in English has different meanings when it's kept with different words. Okay, so that is how English is great. The man stared at her. At her. Okay, you cannot use any other words except at. So, now in your exams, your questions will be like, I will give you a sentence and I will ask you to fill in the sentence with the correct preposition. For that, I will give brackets. So you need to understand as to which preposition you have to. There will be a sentence and then there will be brackets with comma, maybe at and by. You need to understand as to which preposition you are supposed to fill into it. There are many books on in, on Indian cookery. Okay, you cannot write it as there are many books in Indian cookery. See, that's where small things, small things, small things, it matters a lot. In 10 sentences, we can place the preposition in different positions. That is the man she was speaking to. The preposition and its object are usually placed after the verb in a clause or a sentence. We have studied about clauses in the second semester. Yes, second semester you all remember there are different types of clauses and you all know what's a clause. A complete sentence which makes a sentence which makes fully sense that is called as a clause. Okay, we jumped into the icy cold water. If for some reason we want to draw attention or to emphasize the object of prepositional phrase, we can place it at the beginning of the clause or sentence. Into icy cold water we jumped. So if you place the preposition in front, if we want to draw attention into something. So into, when you really want to highlight the position as to what you did, that's where you can place into. This focuses attention on the fact that the water was icy cold and we jumped into it. If the prepositional phrase is placed at the beginning, the verb usually comes before the subject. On the mirror was a large, huge spider. The verb was, subject is spider. Sometimes, if you change the position of a preposition, we usually change the form of pronoun, which is object also. To whom should I give this letter? Who should I give this letter to? Both are having the same meaning. So that's what is being told there. The fourth point. Sometimes if we change the position of the preposition, we usually change the form of pronoun which is subject to. See, in the first sentence, to whom, the pronoun is whom should I give this letter. But in the second sentence, whom became who. Whom should I, you will not write, who should I give this letter to. Got it? Yes. Since I, we have placed the preposition to the end instead of the beginning of the sentence, as in the pronoun who may be used for whom. Some, however, would still use whom itself. Whom should I give this letter to? Fifth point. Sometimes if we change the position of a preposition, a pronoun has to be omitted. Now, let's see. The, here we start as to how we omit pronoun. The country with the country with which England was at war was Germany, which is pronoun and object of a preposition with. The country England was at war with the Germany. See, the country with which, that which is omitted there and it is written as country England was at war with was Germany. The boy to whom I was speaking just now is in my class. The boy I was speaking to just now is in my class. There is whom is omitted. Omission of preposition. Postman gave the letter to him. See, the postman gave him the letter. Got it? Now see, these two are sentences and how it's interchanged and the meaning has to be same. For the first one, the postman gave the letter to him. Okay. Now I'm changing the position of this preposition. When I omit this thing, then if grammatically it has to be right, you have to write it as the postman gave him the letter. Got it? How it's interchanged? Then it becomes right. See, mother made a sandwich for me. Now for is your preposition. You are going to omit it. So you will write it as mother made me a sandwich. How the objects are interchanged. Got it? Yes. Note that when we place the indirect object in immediately after the verb, The preposition to is omitted. Similarly, when me, the indirect object, comes immediately after made, the verb of the preposition for is omitted. So, I hope that you understood what's the preposition. It's very easy chapter. Just need to understand it properly. Read all the prepositions once, at least 5 times, and then do the exercise A and do exercise B. We will discuss the answers in the live class. Okay, thank you so much, my dear children. Bye bye. Have a nice day. Thank you.